Just finished watching an interview with Eddie Reynoso, trainer of Canelo Alvarez, and it sounds like they're going to give Team Saunders what they want. He's going to get, I think, at least a 22-foot ring. He may have wanted a 24-foot one, which is understandable. That is going to allow him to utilize as best as he possibly can his main attribute going into this fight: mobility, footwork. Of course, Canelo has somewhat plodding feet, not to be confused with poor footwork, because he is always on balance. His center is right underneath him, which is perfect for countering, which of course is one of his strong suits. But if there is a way for Saunders to win this one, it's going to start with movement and then being busy. Canelo is never going to have great stamina. It's probably steadily improved, but he always kind of fights semi-automatic. And even in some of his best performances I've seen, like against Danny Jacobs, you still get those moments where he needs to take a round off, go on a little wander and just recharge. He can't just keep the combinations going. He'll have a moment where he'll move back, rely on that fantastic head movement to negate what you're doing, but he's kind of taking a breather at the same time. Saunders needs to be busy, busy, busy from the southpaw stance, and this will be the first southpaw since Erislandy Lara, so hopefully for his sake that can throw a bit of a spanner in the works. With the southpaw jab, he's just got to keep throwing it at him. Not necessarily trying to land the crispest punches, but just keep him occupied, keep him engaged. A bit of mind games wouldn't go amiss, like Tyson Fury did against Vladimir Klitschko. If you could get Canelo a bit emotionally involved, make him feel like he has to respond to the crowd, anything to get him off his game, perfect. He's going to have to set a pace though and stick to it, which is going to be difficult. At 168 pounds, Canelo has grown literally in confidence. His head movement has got better. The word presence is what struck me against Callum Smith, and that was the exact same word that Callum Smith then used when fighting Canelo. His presence has grown in the ring. He goes right up to ring center and owns it now. Very confident. He leans forward. He used to fight a bit more upright. Now he leans forward and happily welcomes fire so he can slip and counter back, which he's so good at. Saunders wants to try and keep it just at arm's length there. Don't give up his ground, because that's what he'll be looking for. He'll be waiting for Saunders to overreach and then boom to the body, up with the uppercuts. He's got to try and be very strict with himself. And if Canelo's too elusive, don't move him. Just keep it there. Just try and keep him out of range and less active. Now, the fact it's at 168 definitely favours Canelo. Look at the pictures here of Canelo at middleweight compared to his current form. Now, whatever the reason is here, whether he's on something, whether it's tainted beef, or whether it's just good old-fashioned hard work, Canelo has grown without adding any fat. You can just see the results. He's just much bigger. So whatever the reason, he has got the frame to add that kind of musculature without really losing anything. This is his ideal weight. It's probably not Saunders' ideal weight. And in a fight where Saunders is going to be really focused on trying to negate Canelo and keep him occupied, it could be one of those fights where it's the eye-catching shots which shade the rounds, and that is again where Canelo has the advantage. He's such an accurate and crisp puncher, and he has the advantage for power, that he only needs to land 2 or 3 of those shots that make the crowd go, whoa, and that will be enough to shade these rounds. Saunders has to just absolutely be on top of him all the time, tactically speaking. Just he will have to throw so many more punches, but of course in doing so opens up the opportunity of being countered. Very difficult. I think it's going to be one of those fights, as a lot of people have said, where Saunders, who looks in fantastic shape, and he is mentally stronger than a lot of previous Canelo opponents, he won't be looking at the clock in the last round like Callum Smith was. He will be trying to win. But even if it turns out to be a bit more of a tactical, lukewarm affair, I go back to what I just said. It will be Canelo who lands the more eye-catching shots. Even if he's kept more quiet than usual, even if he's not able to walk Saunders down and start ripping away at the body. He's got such a lovely punch selection. The left hook, the right uppercut, the fake with the right hand, then the left uppercut. He does so much so well intuitively that I think just the class is going to show in the end. So yeah, nothing too surprising. I have got Canelo by decision, but with Saunders putting in enough of a performance where he at least gets a few pats on the back.